With Season 2 of Black Ops Cold War Zombies, Jerk has once again given us zombie players stuff to grind in the game. If you recall back to when Black Ops Cold War launched, you'll remember that we had to earn crystals by getting to milestone rounds and use them to unlock our tiers on all of our stuff in the arsenal. Each piece of equipment in the arsenal had 3 tiers. This goes for our perks, our ammo mods, our field upgrades, and our weapon classes. And with the Season 2 update, Jerk has given us 2 additional tiers for all of our items, including adding in a new field upgrade and a new ammo mod. Today though, we are going to be talking about perks, and seeing what is the worst perk in the game and the best perk in the game. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to watch the rest of this video. Over the past few weeks, I've been making a lot of content with Black Ops Cold War and going into all the new stuff we've gotten, and you guys have been loving it. I can see this because of all the likes, the views, and the comments as well the videos are getting, so I just want to say thank you. But getting back to the main point of this video, I've done a video on every perk in the game and the tier 5 upgrades. As of right now, we have 7 perks in the game, them being Tombstone, JUGGER-NOG, STAMIN-UP, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, Elemental Pop, and DEADSHOT. I'll be explaining to you what all the perks do in this game as well with their tiers, kind of like how I did in my separate review videos for the perks, but we won't be going into too much detail after. I'm just going to tell you all the abilities the perk have and why I've placed it here. But with that said, let's get into our first perk. Coming in last is going to be Tombstone. Now, Tombstone, obviously, it was added in with Firebase Z, and there was a lot of excitement around it. We got the description of the perk earlier on, before the map came out, and we were all pretty hyped because it looked kind of cool. It looked like a combination between Tombstone and Who's Who, and it could have potentially been a really good perk. Let's go and see what Tombstone actually does in the game, from the base tier to tier 5. The base version of Tombstone Soda reads, when downed, become a shadow in the dark ether armed by your weapons that can revive you. If your shadow loses all its health, you die. Moving on to tier 1, shadow form can regenerate health. Tier 2, increase down duration to 60 seconds. Tier 3, on death, drop a tombstone stash that saves your weapons, equipment, and resources. Tier 4, respawn near the end of the round instead of the beginning of the next. Respawn timer are reduced by 50%. And then tier 5, prevent perk decay while downed. Tombstone Soda is always lost when downed. There's a few reasons why this perk has come in last. I think the first one has to be just the actual idea of using it in multiplayer. The tombstone stash doesn't really work. A lot of the time it glitches out, and it's really expensive to buy your stuff back compared to tombstones in the older games where it wasn't. I do like the ability of Who's Who is kind of in this game, and I do think it can work. I don't think it's the worst ability in the game by far, but it's definitely kind of annoying on the higher rounds, and you're gonna get down pretty easily if you're not careful. Another thing I would say is the last tier, prevent perk decay when down, Tombstone Soda is always lost, got me kind of excited for a second. I thought originally what would happen is when you went into your Tombstone mode, eventually what would happen is you go revive yourself and you follow all your perks except Tombstone. That does not be the case. What actually happens is that you have your free perks that you bought first, and if you have Tombstone as one of them, you lose it because Tombstone always goes. But I really thought that if we had all of our perks, it'd be a great perk. It would have been an amazing perk if you went down, used Tombstone, revive yourself, came back up, you have all your perks except Tombstone. But no, you lose all your perks, and it's kind of sad. And to be honest, that's really why Tombstone deserves to be in the number 7 spot. But is there any ways they can improve it? Well, if they have a tier 6 and 7, like I've talked about in my other videos, one thing I could see them doing is making it so at tier 7, you keep your perks except Tombstone. I think that'd be fair, and I think that would be Tombstone finally working good. I think people would actually enjoy using it, and I think that's what needs to happen. But moving on to the number 6 spot on our list, it's going to have to be Speed Cola. Now, I've said many times that Speed Cola is quite good, and it's not the worst perk in the world. But we'll get more into that after we read the base description all the way to tier 5, so let's just get into it. The base description of Speed Cola reads, increase reload speed bonus to 15%. Tier 1, swap weapons faster. Tier 2, field upgrades recharge 20% faster. Tier 3, increased reload speed bonus to 30%. Tier 4, repair barriers faster, the mystery box settles much faster. Tier 5, fire and reload while sprinting at full speed. So overall, Speed Cola is a pretty good package. One thing I just don't like about it is that I really don't notice the difference too much of the reload speeds. Now, I know it increases it by 30%, and that is great once you get to the tier 3. But I just feel like that reload speed is very much lacking. Even though I do think the tier 2 ability, field upgrades recharge 20% faster, is crucial on the higher rounds, And I do really like the tier 4 ability where you get time slip. If you remember Black Ops 4, time slip was a perk that pretty much let you do everything faster. And essentially Speed Cola in this game is just time slip with Speed Cola introduced into it as well. It actually shows a lot more abilities from time slip than Speed Cola itself, but even though the abilities it has are very useful, it's not in any way that amazing. It's good, but not amazing. It's not like some of the other choices on the list we'll get later on, but I think it sits pretty comfortably here at the number 6 spot. Moving on to number 5, it has to be STAMIN-UP. Now, this is where you might kind of differ from my opinion. I do think the perk's good and it is useful on the higher rounds, but you need to hear me out here. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go through again the base version and all the tiers, and then we'll talk about the reasons why I really think it should be around here. The base version of STAMIN-UP reads: increase run and sprint speed. Tier 1, increase backpedal speed. Tier 2, immune to fall damage. Tier 3, walk faster while aiming down sights. Tier 4, use equipment while sprinting. And Tier 5, remove sprint speed fall off. So the base version does what STAMIN-UP normally does, and that is great. Moving on to Tier 1, obviously backpedal speeds means you're going to have more of that. Tier 2 is where it kind of gets interesting with the fall damage, and in some way is kind of interpreting PhD into this perk as well, which I think is quite cool. We're doing that with a lot of the perks, and I think that's a really good route to go to give us more perks while not having to actually add in individual perks. But then Tier 3 comes along, and obviously you walk faster while aiming down sights. Tier 4, use equipment while sprinting. It's good, it's fine, it's nothing too special. And Tier 5, remove sprint speed fall off. Now, this is going to be good for the speedrunners and obviously some high round players, because the zombies on the higher rounds are really fast and really annoying. Also for Easter eggs, obviously you're going to want it as fast as possible just to get the job done. Now, the perk, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's kind of like Speed Cola. It's in this place where it's a really useful perk, but it's not an amazing, overpowered, like you're not going to, this perk isn't going to carry you to the higher rounds, like some of the other perks we're going to be talking about will. So that's why I believe STAMIN-UP is here and it belongs here. But moving on to the next perk we have on our list, it's going to be DEADSHOT DAIQUIRI. The base version reads as follows: aiming down sight moves to enemy critical locations, removes scope sway. Moving to Tier 1, deal 100 extra critical damage if an enemy is at full health. Moving on to Tier 2, increase damage against armor pieces by 50%. Tier 3, reduce hip fire spread. Tier 4, increase critical bonus damage to 10%. Tier 5, each consecutive hit on the same enemy deals 2% more damage to a maximum of 20%. So overall, the base version of DEADSHOT does what it has done before and aiming at the head. And then we get a lot of the really good ones like a Tier 1, deal 100% extra critical damage if an enemy is full health. That is one of the best abilities this perk has. And then I would say the next is probably going to be the Tier 5 or Tier 4 ability, where you're just kind of adding more damage. And I think this perk is really good. I think this perk is one of the best perks in the game for the weapons, at least, because obviously this is a perk that is for the weapons. And the weapons, when you use them with this perk, it can make a lot of them 2 to 3 shots. Like the M1911, you can 2-shot a zombie, or 3-shot, I'm pretty sure, in the head past round 43, where the health cap stops. And that's just incredible to me, the fact that the perk is this good. And I can definitely understand why someone might put this perk at the number 3 spot instead of the number 4 spot, because they're kind of equal to me. These two perks kind of have the same ground, and they really both are good in their own ways. I think DEADSHOT belongs here, just because the next perk really helps kind of push out more damage in the long run. And that is going to be Elemental Pop. Now, I love this perk. I think this is one of the best perks in Black Ops Cold War Zombies now. On my original list, Elemental Pop was actually at the second last spot on the list, so it didn't do too well. But with the new tier upgrades and the actual upgrades we got to our ammo mods, because that's the main point of this perk, it uses our ammo mods and makes them a lot better, it really pushed the perk up quite a lot. Let's see what Elemental Pop's base versions are and all the tiers all the way through to 5 though. First of all, every bullet you fire has a small chance to apply a random ammo mod effect. So this is going to be the ammo mods that we have in our classes, obviously, and we can get from the Pack-a-Punch. Moving on to Tier 1, equipment damage also has a small chance to apply a random base ammo mod effect. So again, this is going to be good for when you're using monkey bombs and things like that. You might use your ammo mod effect by doing so. Tier 2 is going to be reduced ammo mod cooldown by 20%, so you're going to get your ammo mods a lot faster with your weapons, and I'm pretty sure this applies to the actual perk as well. When a random ammo mod is applied, it uses the ammo mod's current skill tier instead of the base, so this is really good for the new tiers for the ammo mods we've gotten, because it makes it so that it is overpowered. Like, you guys have to be in game to see it, but it truly is something overpowered. Then moving on to tier 4, increase enemy elemental weakness damage by 50%. What this means is, for example, let's say we have a megaton. The dead wire effect, the ammo mod, is a lot better on the megaton than the rest of them. This is going to increase that damage by 50% and kill it a lot faster. Moving on to tier 5, reloading creates an electrical damage discharge that damages and stuns nearby enemies. The more empty the mag, the more damage you're going to do. And this is why I love Elemental Pop, because Elemental Pop is electric cherry. It's so good for higher rounds to get zombies off you, and there's a lot of benefits to this perk as well other than that. First of all, I was talking about the ammo mods. All the ammo mods have gotten a buff, and this makes Elemental Pop internally better, because that's the main thing about Elemental Pop, it is using the ammo mods. Like I said, when you're shooting zombies, there's a random chance that you'll be able to do damage to the zombies with an ammo mod effect. One thing I'll say that I've seen a lot of people complaining about on my Elemental Pop video was that the reload hurts your eyes. Like when the stun, the electric cherry effect comes up, it's so pink. I personally have not noticed that myself. But if you have noticed that, let me know in the comments. I have not noticed it myself though. But like I said, I can see DEADSHOT, Elemental Pop being kind of mixed around depending on how you feel. But that's where I feel like they should stay for right now. Then moving on to our next spot, the second last spot, you'll know what the first spot is as well. It's going to have to be Quick Revive. Now, Quick Revive beforehand, I would say is an okay perk. It wasn't amazing, but it was very good. But with tier 4 and tier 5 abilities, it's so much better. Let's read through the base version and the tiers as well. The base version of Quick Revive reads, reduces time it takes to regenerate to full health by 50%, reduces the time it takes to revive an ally by 50%, so you're going to be healing a lot faster once you've been hit a few times. Moving on to tier 1, down crawl speed is increased by 100%, so you're going to be getting a lot faster down crawl speed. Moving on to tier 2, reduce the delay before health starts regenerating by 50%. Moving on to tier 3, reviving an ally will also heal you to full health. Moving on to tier 4, one of the new ones, reviving an ally will increase both players' movement speeds for a limited time. And then tier 5, which is the most overpowered one out of them all, I would say, killing an enemy while down will revive you and remove Quick Revive perk. This is amazing. This has to be the best upgrades out of all of them, and it really makes Quick Revive one of the best perks. Now, essentially what this means is if you have a ray gun or something when you go down and you're able to kill a zombie instantly, you're always going to be able to get back up. One downside to this though is I've seen a comment as well to perfectly explain it. On maps like Outbreak and D Machine where you can get a ray gun, you're going to be absolutely fine. But on a map like Firebase Z where there is no ray gun, this becomes a lot more pointless. Because I don't see yourself having a pistol when you're going down Pack-a-Punch with effects and stuff. So I can just really see this backfiring on that map. But for D Machine, this is a great perk to run because the ray gun strat is always the fastest strat. So you're going for high rounds, so you have an accidental down. This thing is going to save you. But we all know what is coming in at number 1 now. It has to be JUGGER-NOG. Now we all know why this is here, but let's go through everything already in the first place. So the base version of JUGGER-NOG increases your maximum health by 50. Then tier 1, reduce stat effects duration by 50%. Tier 2, armor plates replenish 25% additional armor. Moving on to tier 3, increase maximum health by 100. Moving on to tier 4, armored redurability increased by 25%. And then tier 5, instead of getting downed on a lethal hit, armor is replenished and hit is reduced to 1 health. Now, the last tier for me really isn't that great. It's going to help you kind of get out of them situations a wee bit, but honestly, you don't really notice it too much. I've noticed this like 5 or 6 times or so of me been playing the game, and it hasn't really saved me too much. It's just the fact that JUGGER-NOG as a base perk gives you more health, and that's why it has to kind of come here. Sure, all the other perks are really good in their categories, but this is going to be the one that really helps you get to the higher rounds because of the slaps the zombies are going to give you. And you're going to need it for the higher rounds. Unless you're a pro zombies player like some of the higher round people in the community, you are going to always want to have JUGGER-NOG soda. And yeah, there's nothing else really to say about it. That's why that comes in at number 1. This list I feel like is fairly ranked. Obviously, let me know your guys' list in the comments below, because obviously a lot of it's personal opinion, your play style, all that good stuff. I'm just glad we can run all these perks at the same time. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well smack the like button and also subscribe for more zombies content. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!